So first and foremost, welcome to the UK.
Yeah, thanks, man. UK is crazy.
Your show is crazy, I'm hearing.
Yeah, man, you guys go hard over here. I wasn't expecting all that, Because in the States, it's like, well, I did expect the show to be kind of crazy because it sold out a few weeks in advance. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, like, man, they should have booked me somewhere bigger if it sold out so far in advance. But I think with the time they had, they just wanted to do this for the first time and then the next time do something bigger. So it was real intimate. I haven't done a show that intimate in a long time because, in the States, I've been doing shows like 20,000 people, 10,000, 5,000, 3,000. But, like, that would be the lowest. It would be like 3,000. So here it was only like a few hundred, I don't know, like 400 or 500 people. But it was really fun, man. They got hype as shit and went crazy. A lot of pretty girls. I didn't know so many pretty girls over here even. You know what I'm saying? So I had a great time. They showed love, man. As soon as I got out of customs, man, like I went like took 5 steps and had to take like all these pictures. So they were showing hella love, yeah. I was with Kanye last week, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be in London when the same time you're gonna be in London." And I was like, "Oh shit, you need to come out." And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "We'll see. I'll see what's up." And he was like, "But we definitely gotta hook up." He was saying like we at least gotta hang out. And I'm like, "Well, you gotta come out." He's like, "Well, we at least gotta hang out." And I was like, "Oh," so I didn't know if he was gonna come out. And I was performing, and they said he might come, he might not come, and I didn't talk to him. So I was just performing. I didn't think he was gonna come because when I got there, he wasn't there. So I was just, doing it myself. And then when I was about to perform Marvin and Chardonnay, second to last, they were like, "No, move it to the last song." So when they said that, I was like, "Oh, he's probably gonna come out." And he did, and it went crazy, ape shit, retarded. And it was fun, man. It was definitely a night to remember.
The thing is that it's gonna be like a legendary moment.
Yeah.
Sean and Kanye at Cargo. No one would have expected that.
Yeah, and it was so intimate. I mean, people were so close. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even think people have gotten that close to Kanye in a long time. Like, he was like right there. I'm talking about right. People were like there. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no barricade. It was nothing. So it was real tight that he did that. You know what I'm saying? And that he came out and supported. And it's all fam.
Now, how did you get? It's an interesting story how you got down with Kanye. Was it you met him and did you drop a freestyle for him, or how did that whole thing happen?
Yeah, well, I used to do this radio show every Friday. As soon as I turned 16 and my grandma gave me my first car, I used to do a radio show every Friday called the Friday Night Cypher, where MCs would battle each other, and whoever would win the battles would get to rap one verse on air every Friday night. So I was selling my CD in high school, making like $200 a week. And back then that was like $1 million. And so that was perfect promotion for me to be on the radio every Friday. So I did that for like a year straight. Got a good relationship with the station. Going into my senior year of high school, I was I remember this summer I was cashing a check because I was a telemarketer too. So I was cashing my it was like $120. It was the worst job ever. It was whack as hell. And my friend called me while I was at the bank and was like, "Yo, you listening to the radio?" I'm like, "No, what's up?" He's like, "Man, Kanye's down at the station. Yo, man, if you go down there and rap for him, bro, he'll sign you, bro. I swear, if he just heard you, he would sign you." I'm like, "Man, you sound dumb as hell." And I thought about it for like 10 seconds. I was like, "Man, that's a great idea." Dropped everything I was doing. Got down to the station. Since I've been doing that show there, they let me write in. And the show I did was every Friday night, and this was Saturday morning. So I lied and said I left my phone back there, like in the back offices. So they let me go back there. And then I snuck in the back where I knew Kanye was in the back. Shook his hand and was like, "Yo, I'm an aspiring rapper, man. I do this show here every Friday. Can I rap for you?" And he was like, "Man, I ain't got time. I gotta go." I'm like, "Man, you my hero, man. I like ride to school listening to you. You my idol, man." And he was definitely, I was a Kanye fan to the core. And he was like, "All right, man, well, you got 16 bars, which is the equivalent of a verse. Man, but you got to rap while we walking out the station. Go." So I started rapping.
So can you remember? Can you say what the bars were?
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember them?
Nah, because I was freestyling. I was like mixing it all up. And it was like spur of the moment. I was so nervous, you know. And he told me I had one verse while we were walking out of the station, but I ended up rapping for like 10 minutes straight because he was like really into it. And that was the initial contact, man. You know, it took years and years and years after that. You know, I graduated high school. I was on my way to Michigan State. I graduated high school with a 3.7, you know, so I was like, had honors. I was ready to go to college, ready to live that fun college life, get wasted, have all the pretty girls in my dorm, you know what I'm saying? And I gave it all up just for the possibility of maybe signing to him. But, you know, I followed my heart, man, and it all worked out.
Now, that being said, you and Mike Posner go back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did he used to make beats for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On my first mixtape, Mike Posner, he produced a song called Smoke and Drive on there. And, you know, me and him been friends way before we blew up. So it's so tight to just be homies and, like, be in the positions me and him are both in. And, you know, that's my good friend, man, my good friend. And, you know, I love him and stuff, so it's definitely the homie. It's crazy, man. We used to just be in his mom's basement working on music, me and him. Crazy.
Yeah, and he always speaks highly of you all the time. He's always speaking highly.
He's a genius, man. He's it. Mike Posner is definitely just really good. Yeah.
So now let's talk about the album. Now, roughly, how long did it take for you to actually create the album from start to finish?
Well, it changed so many times. You know, I put out mixtapes. I would always have like my album, and then I'd be like, no, I'm gonna just use this as a mixtape, and it kept building my buzz. Every time I would put a mixtape out, I would get more and more recognition. So it was kind of like, even though I didn't go to college, I still went to college because I would put a mixtape out like once a year, and it would be like my final exam. While my friends were in school doing their finals, I was like rapping in my mixtape. But anyway, so Finally Famous, the album was like me graduating, and you know, it took about a year's time for like to make that project. And you know, No ID, Kanye, Pharrell, a lot of people really helped out. So, you know, they helped me make that transition from like just a mixtape artist to really being like making a good album, you know, because for mixtapes you ain't got to worry about having hit records. You don't have to worry about, you can have 40 bar verses if you want. For an album, it has to be a little more structured because they got to put all the millions behind it, you know, they got to put money on it. And so it was definitely like, for songs like My Last, like when No ID gave me that beat, I didn't even want to do it. I was like, man, it sounds so soft, I'm not about to do this whack ass, soft ass beat. And he's like, man, you want to be a mixtape rapper forever? Or you want to make songs people could live to, man, that people could have fun to, play at barbecues and pool parties and on the radio, and that your label would be happy about? And I was like, man, you're right. So I went home and I wrote that song from front to back. And it originally was all me singing on it. It was, you know, I like wrote the bridges and choruses and stuff, and wasn't too sure about the song. So I was in the studio with Chris Brown one day, like, and we were working on a whole bunch of other stuff, and I was playing him so many songs, and he was liking them all. And then I was like, oh yeah, and then I got this other one too. It was like, I almost didn't play it, but I played it, and he went so crazy over it. He was like, oh my God, this shit is a smash. Oh shit. You know, and then he hopped on it, and that's how that came about. And then as soon as Def Jam heard he hopped on it, it was out of there. And that was the first single over there. So the first one over here, I think, is going to be Marvin and Chardonnay.
Okay.
With me, Kanye, and Roscoe Dash. Now,
in this time of you being an artist, what have you learned about the business? What's the most critical thing you've learned about being a signed artist as opposed to just a mixtape artist or an aspiring rapper?
Man, you just got to stay true. You got to go hard, and you got to work, you know. Just be the best. Set yourself apart always. And, you know, it's definitely, like I always say, it's definitely a transition, man. But, you know, it's fun. And I was really mad about, one thing that really made me mad about this album was there was certain songs I really wanted on there and couldn't put on there because of the sample clearances. mixed with the deadlines, it's like I didn't have enough time to like clear the samples and couldn't put the songs on there. And shit really made me mad. I like didn't want to come out with my album. I was like so pissed off. But you know, I realized to see the perfection and imperfection and realize that, you know, that just means my next one is gonna be so much more better. I can't wait to take everything I learned from the first one and put it towards the second one, you know. So it was all a learning process. So it was definitely a learning process. And, you know, I learned that you have to really plan stuff out way in advance. You have to always progress and always stay true to your heart, man. Like, you know, it never lies to you, so you should never lie, period.
For those songs that haven't been cleared, would you put them on the next album, or would you just throw them out there?
It depends. You know, by the time I get to the next album, by the time it's about to come out, I may be on some whole other stuff, and then, you know. So we just gotta wait and see. I don't know.
So usually I ask artists like some of the deeper songs, the most personal songs to them. So if I ask Big Sean what is his deepest song to date that he's written, what song would that be?
Either Memories or the song I got called So Much More. You know, So Much More, that takes me back to like being at my grandma's house, her making pancakes every Saturday morning. You know, just like enjoying them cartoons. And like that's, you really see, like I talk about like everything from my relationships with a girl to my homies, my mom, my grandma, you know. And then songs like Memories, who was also inspired by my grandma, because I used to sit and talking to her, and she just, you know, my grandma never leaves the house anymore. She's senile. She's like 90 some odd years old, paralyzed on the right side, so she's in a wheelchair. And she'll sit and talk about old times that she had in her life and will be so happy, you know. And I realized that those times she already went through is what keeps her like so happy and so like, you know, wanting to make sure I have the best times. And I realized at the end of life, all you really have is memories. So, you know, you should definitely always follow your heart and do what you let it do, because you never want to be like looking back wishing you woulda, coulda, shoulda did anything, you know. So that was like one of my main motivations for just doing what I let it do, was always talking to my grandma. And, you know, not the sense that, you know, she worked hard and went to school and did everything, but and had great memories. But I realized, like, man, you can't be mad at the end of your life, you know, or else it's pointless.
But the thing is, do you get time to like take it all in of what's happening now? Like, you know, you're here, you're there. Do you get time to actually enjoy like the success that you're currently having?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy it in the sense, like, I have a fun time, though, man. Like, I have a great time doing what I let it do. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't do what they let it do for a living. And for my parents to be proud of me, my family, be able to support them. You know, last time I went home to Detroit, they gave me the key to the city, like, a big presentation. So it's like, you know, this is all I dreamed about, man. It's like everything I ever asked for. So I'll sit and be tired as I ever been ever in life, ever. And I'll never complain about ever having to do anything, because I used to want this stuff so bad. I used to want to be able to be so busy that I was exhausted, you know. So I complain about being exhausted, but I won't complain about doing what I'm doing. And I'm like truly happy to be here, like, for real.